Good evening and welcome to the Brain Trust. Tonight we're going to be talking about the definition of the word freedom. What it really means, what it boils down to. Joining me tonight is Cassie the Ragdoll, and later on we're going to have Placeholder Films in here. Good evening, Cassie. How you doing?
Good. We just got word that Placeholder might not be able to join tonight
Oh, wow.
as we're speaking. So that is a thing that just happened.
Excellent. Well, we always keep an open door policy for guests if you want to join us. Feel free to message us, talk to us in the side chat if you want to join in on the conversation and you have a good internet connection and good ideas, or just any ideas. Anyway, our general format is brainstorming, so we just bounce concepts and ideas off of each other, and there's no arguing, bickering, or debates here. Let's get started. What's freedom? And something I was thinking about, Cassie, is
Yeah.
it possible to be free when you still have needs that aren't being met?
Hmm. Well, see, we have to figure out what is the definition of freedom that we all use because it varies from person to person, even.
I would definitely agree. I mean, that's kind of what the brainstorming session that tonight is all about, is coming up with that definition. But
Yeah.
as far as, what about having needs, I guess, would be defined as not being free, being somehow pinned down because you have needs.
Hmm.
And does having needs actually eliminate your ability to have freedom?
Hmm. That is hard to say. I
Because the
mean,
way the way I see it, when people provide for you, you're kind of um, maybe not indebted, maybe not enslaved, but
hmm.
directly attached to them, if that makes any sense, and dependent upon them, and therefore you're not
Yeah.
truly free. But if you were truly free, you wouldn't have those needs met, and therefore you would be. If having needs eliminates freedom, then there's no true way to be free.
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
At least if having your needs met makes you less free, which I believe it does.
And then people also, okay, there's a difference between needs and wants because a lot of people forget that a lot of us say we need stuff and it's really that we want it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah, like I definitely need internet service. No, it's a want. It's definitely a
Yeah.
want.
Yes.
From a hunter gatherer perspective, it's a want. From a being able to survive in the financial world of today, it borders. I mean, because there are public libraries, but I think it's still technically a want.
Yeah. You can survive without internet. It wouldn't be fun, but you could survive.
Yes, you
You can
probably
survive.
would not thrive as well.
You can, women, you can survive without makeup in the $100 dress. Okay.
I've seen it happen.
I do it. No, I don't. But yeah.
A lot of them are like that woman in Always, who you never really realize is a woman until she puts on a dress, and you're like, "Whoa, holy crap! Where'd she come from? Who is that?" You know,
Yes.
that's awesome. By the way, those rare moments like that
Yeah.
worth 5,000 nights of coming in dressed to the nines.
Yeah. I mean, uh,
If you show up like in coveralls with 10W40 on your hands and a backwards cap every day, and I run into you like that every day for months and months and months and months, and then I see you in a dress,
Mhm.
that's going to blow my mind. But we're getting off, I think.
Off topic.
Off topic. Yeah, probably should have finished that sentence. It would have sounded better. So, I don't know. I think makeup and dress and stuff like that, and I think a lot of I hate to say this, but a lot of feminists would agree with me. I think a lot of those things kind of enslave you.
This is true. I hate to say it.
And I hate to use the term, but it is a term. Um, the I guess social beauty standards
Yeah, that we're taught to live up to.
that we're taught to live up to, or we're taught to strive for.
Yeah.
I say aim for it, but don't be terribly upset if you don't make it, you know?
Yeah. Um, those of us who've been through hell and back in and out of issues with eating disorders and trying to strive to be the perfect silhouette, you don't get noticed, you know?
Yeah.
So it's yeah. But when it comes to freedom, like we kind of look at see, we have to really think about the difference between wants and needs. Do you need to be do you okay, what do you actually need to survive?
I think you need air, water,
Hmm.
food, uh, entertainment, and something to do. You
Yeah.
need purpose. You have to have a purpose. If you don't have purpose, then you're going to be miserable and you're not going to survive very long like that. It's just going to take a
And
toll on your
that
stress and your body. What?
that varies from person to person, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can have any purpose you need, like as long as you have a purpose. If you have a reason to be here, then you will stay here. If you don't have a reason to be here, your body and your mind start giving up pretty quick. It's called depression. That's how like that's literally the definition of depression.
Depression. Hi. But no, I mean, okay. So we are social creatures, so we need to interact with each other.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. A lot of us need other humans.
Hmm. We do need food.
And I think because we need other humans, we need a standard set of rules for how to interact with each other that we all
Yes.
abide by, that we refer to as the law.
Yes. Yes. But what? Hmm, this is where
But does the law restrict your freedom?
it can.
I think so long, like I think your freedom ends where everyone else's begins.
Yeah.
You have the right to do whatever you want, but you do not have the right to impose it on others. And no one has the right to impose it on you, period. And if that's violated, then I think freedom is lost. I think that's one way of looking at freedom.
Mhm.
But when you think about the freedom to do anything you want so long as you don't impose it on others, or I would add, or hurt others in the process of doing what you're doing,
Yeah.
to deprive somebody of life, liberty, or property while doing what you're doing, I think would be, you know, crossing that line.
Yeah. But then the question becomes like,
So I think any law that
yeah.
protects people's life, liberty, or property does not restrict freedom,
Hmm.
because that by definition ensures that humans have what they need to survive,
Ah.
which is a stable society and the ability to interact with other humans. Add that to food, water, and entertainment, and a purpose.
Yeah.
And you have everything you need for a human to survive.
Mhm.
And in order to have water, you have to protect water. You know, the more humans that are on this planet, the the less some of them care about what they do to the water. You know, in medieval times, you had all kinds of terrible cholera and stuff like that, all these waterborne diseases because they didn't understand, you know, that you can't crap in the water and then drink it downstream.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think laws that protect natural resources also would fall under that. They don't restrict freedom.
But
Is it? Are you still free if you're not allowed to, let's say,
okay.
pour toxic chemicals into a river for the reason of doing it, just so you could do it?
Yeah.
Is that a restriction of freedom that you would consider breaking freedom?
Freedom, like, okay. But how can you're saying it starts where another person begins, correct?
Yeah.
But what about a parent?
Hmm.
You see, there's a very fine line because think about children. Where do their freedoms start? Where do ours end?
Their freedoms start the day that we recognize them as an adult. I don't believe that children should be free because if you allow a child to be free, that child will more than likely die. And I think there's an inherent natural need for every living creature to protect its offspring. Well, I'd say most of them.
Yeah, because there's some that
There are
don't.
some out there, yeah, I get it. They don't exactly have the best survival strategy, but they'll throw out, say, like, a couple 100,000 extra kids just to make it work.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know, I think that every intelligent creature tries to protect its young and keep it alive as long as it can, keep it alive to a point where it can keep itself alive, and at that point, it gets freedom.
Yeah. But okay, how about if a child grows up in a hostile environment? Do they understand the laws of the society at hand? And can they understand the actual freedom? You know what I mean? Does that make any sense? I don't know if
Oh, man, my microphone was off that whole time?
I. I
That
don't
was
know
a
if it's
lot of
your
great
microphone.
stuff, man. That was like gold. I'm not lying when I say I just said the most brilliant things ever, and everybody missed it. Totally not making that up. No, I believe that, um, man, let's go back to the subject real quick. What was your question?
Okay, so let's say a child grows up in a hostile environment, okay, where they have nothing, and then they
Yes, yes, yes,
enter
yes,
a
yes.
world. They
Okay.
enter a world where they have freedom. Doesn't that affect the child? Shouldn't there be like you should slowly introduce forms of freedom to a child, not just go, you live like this, and then here you go.
Yeah, that's what we call responsibility with growth. You know, or
Yeah.
you get more. What is it called? get more responsibility and you handle it well, you receive more freedoms,
Yeah.
more liberties. And I don't know, that's just part of growing up. When you can show you're responsible at a certain level, you are given, more opportunity to do what you want.
And then there are kids who become the parent of their parent. So are those kids considered free?
No.
I,
No, I think that those children are enslaved, and I think that that's a terrible fate that they suffer.
and how do you break a cycle like that?
Um, I'll be the I don't know how to break the cycle like that. I honestly couldn't tell you. I think you could sit down with a child, and if they're intelligent enough, you could talk to them about breaking the cycle. You could talk to them about their own life and their own world and how they want to build it. But I don't really know. I think with every person it's different, and I'm not the best at fixing broken kids. I'm really great at making them without breaking them, but I'm I just I don't know. My empathy takes over, and I get a little overwhelmed talking to broken kids, and I met a few of them along my way. So
Yeah. And broken kids turn into broken adults.
yeah,
But I hi.
yes,
um
funny stuff.
but yeah. But I mean it's and I mean okay, so if you have all your needs and you don't hurt anybody, see this is where there's a big gray area that we have.
Yeah,
Like if
what
you don't hurt
constitutes hurting
anybody
somebody?
else. Yeah. Because I hate to say it, but let's say you hurt yourself. Is that okay? Is that do you have the freedom to do that?
I think you do. I don't want you to. I don't think you should, and I'll try to talk you out of it, but
Yeah.
I won't say that you don't have the freedom to.
Yeah. Or
I mean, that's why we allow alcoholics to exist. We
yeah.
don't ban them from buying alcohol.
No. This is
I
true.
mean, they're sitting there killing themselves, and we don't stop them. You have the
Yes.
freedom to hurt yourself. You have the freedom to do damage to yourself. You don't have the freedom to do it to other people. That's,
Yeah.
that's restricting their freedoms.
And then that you have a whole another gray area is in the medical world. Because if you think about it, if you ever go into a doctor's office and say, I want to hurt myself, they hospitalize you. Or if you're a patient and let's say you're chronically ill, there is a gray area where, you know, let's say you know that you're dying and you want to die peacefully, but the doctors say that they can't do that.
See, there's this thing that you have to do when you become a doctor. You have to swear an oath called the Hippocratic Oath. And
Yes.
I think that that particular oath is one of those almost impossible to keep oaths. It's not something
What?
that you can truly hold and live a complete and full life. Because there are going to
Yeah.
be times when you have to harm people. And honestly, um, there are catch-22s where no matter what you do, you're going to harm somebody.
Mm-hmm.
For example, somebody comes in and says, I want to harm myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not currently harming themselves, and they're not harming others. And you ask them, you say, do you want to harm others? And you say, absolutely not. No, no,
No.
I would never want to harm anybody else. I want to harm myself. And then the doctor says, okay, I have to lock you up. I have to take away your freedom. At that point, you're harming that person. You're harming their freedom. Well, I'm preventing them from harming themselves. Yeah, well, but you're not doing no harm.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean, basically, if you let them go home and harm themselves, you'd still be doing no harm.
hmm
You can report it to a caseworker. You say, hey, maybe you guys want to go talk to this guy. But at the end of the day, even the caseworker, all they can do is talk to the guy and hope that he doesn't harm himself. I don't think you should have your freedom taken away no matter how adamantly you say you want to harm yourself.
yeah. I mean, it's just see, that's where there's this gray area of what is okay and what isn't okay when it comes to freedom, you know? Because it's like, well, that is a concept that is, you know, very talked about is like, well, is this okay? Is it okay? Is it but should the person have the freedom to decide, hey, I want to end my life? Should a person be allowed to have that freedom? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think that they should. I think so long as the ending of their life does not burden others. For example,
Mhm.
let's say a married couple has everything in their name together: house, cars, everything. And let's say it's invested up to $1 million,
Okay.
and they've been married for 50 years. And the old man runs businesses, and the old woman, she stays at home, and um, she makes. And I'm sorry to all the married gay couples. You split this up any way you want. One person runs businesses, and the other one stays at home and gardens because they love gardening, and whatever. And the first one invests in bad businesses, doesn't tell his spouse or her spouse, and then loses all the money and commits suicide, leaving the house and everything that they've mortgaged up to the hilt, as the debt to pay off the debt. So basically, by committing suicide, they have ruined this business situation and taken away all the property that they and their spouse built up over all those years from their spouse and giving it to a bank because they didn't have the honor to go and, you know, deal with it the right way. They committed suicide. I think if you commit suicide under circumstances like that, you've harmed somebody else in doing it. I don't agree with having the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
To commit suicide when your circumstances will actually affect others.
Yeah.
If
And
you
there's
if you dragged others into your mess, don't kill yourself.
yeah. I mean, there's so many like different ways when you look at freedom. Should we is it okay, if I decided to walk around naked, is that against but everybody else is not okay with that? Is that is that against my freedom or theirs? Is my question.
I think it's against your freedom. I know it's not popular, but I agree. I disagree with moral decency laws. I agree with
Hmm.
democratic processes.
Yeah.
I agree that in order to survive, humans need to interact with each other. And in order to do that, we need a stable society. In order that, we need to agree to rules. And for some reason, we agreed years and years and years ago that these were the standards.
Yeah.
And we've lived by them as a species for a long time. Now, I in that circumstance, I just, I'm thinking back to like Vice City Radio, uh, the Grand Theft Auto series, Vice City. They had this
Yeah.
talk radio channel,
Yeah.
and there was a nudist on it trying to argue why nudism is like the way to be. And I gotta say, I agree with the host. There are a lot of reasons to be wearing clothes. It's very cold if you're not.
But I mean, is there things like that? Like people are like, well, you have to wear clothes.
Mm,
Why? Why? You know? And does that, you know,
I mean, nobody's forcing the people who are offended to be out in public or to look at you or any of that. Nobody's forcing any of that on them.
Yes.
They don't have to look your way. And if they look your way and see you and are offended, they can turn around and go the other way without inhibiting your freedom, and you haven't inhibited theirs.
Yeah.
If they want the freedom to keep moving forward in your direction, they're going to have to deal with you expressing your freedom. That's my opinion. Now,
But
how it plays out in the real world, um, well, let's just say that the real world doesn't always agree with me. I don't personally have a problem with public nudity. I have a problem with. Uh, I would have a problem with people getting it out of hand. Like, look at the gay pride parade, for example.
mhm,
I have. I remember the gay pride parade back in the '90s when it was basically just a bunch of people marching with flags, and they were dressed up,
mhm,
and that was it. I mean, they weren't dressed in like avant-garde costumes on big floats, and they were just marching,
yeah.
and they had flags, and they were saying, we're here, we're queer, and we're not going anywhere."
Mhm.
And you look at the gay pride parade now, I don't want my kids anywhere near the city when that's going on. I don't want to have to explain to them what a 70-foot balloon dildo is. Like, seriously? It's not a gay pride parade anymore. It's a sex festival.
This
And
is
and I actually have a problem with that. So I don't go down there. And like, I express my freedom by not attending.
yeah.
Because I don't see it as gay pride anymore. I see it as like, let's get as ridiculous as we possibly can. And let's see who can get most blurred out on the news.
Yeah.
Or,
That
or they'll never be able to blur this out.
that and Coachella. Sorry, I know Coachella just happened. People who go to that thing,
I
but
don't know what, I have no idea what that is.
it's a big festival in California, 3 day long. It's like the fashion shit, but it started off as, people get dressed. Now they're wearing less and less and less and less and
And
less.
now it's just a nudity fest.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. I mean, like, seriously, if you're going to do something like that, just call it that from the beginning. You'll get the numbers that you want right off the bat. Just at least be honest about it.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, this is a fashion show. What's that dress? Oh, that's 6 lifesavers
Yeah, basically.
strung together with floss.
Don't get me wrong, I love fashion. I'm a girl who's all about fashion and being an icon and enjoying the style you like and what fits your body. Fits your body. Remember that statement. Um, but no, it's okay.
I'm a big fan. Here's what I think about fashion. And I'm just like, I'm going to say this before I forget it. And this is like the end all be all for me for fashion. I believe in wearing whatever you feel makes you feel best about who you are.
Mhm.
Whatever, really just
Yeah,
your best person.
yeah. And then this kind of goes into the world of the alternative lifestyle, or where we believe in the word consent. You know, consent.
Yes, I know. That's the alternative lifestyle now, isn't it?
Yeah. Um, people, people in vanilla world, consent, consent, consent. Please don't touch me unless you have my consent. Thank you.
I used to have to organize a lot of the stuff up at Dragon Con
Yeah.
when they did the ins and outs for all the performance bands. And that was a nightmare keeping people away from them.
Uh, uh, uh,
We get in guests, we get in big band names and stuff like that, and we were just our job was to schedule them and find out what they needed. Like, oh, you need some more? Okay, yeah, sure, we'll bring you some of that.
yeah.
Great, it was good times. But then in between stage and back to the room was always a nightmare with the big with like the big headliners anyway.
Yeah. And
Most people most of the bands that they have that went up there were real small, and they loved the attention. They play in the hallway.
Yeah. But then you have, oh, speaking of Dragon Con, okay, if you are dressed up in a costume going to a convention, does it affect your freedom when random people decide, hey, let's come up to you and grab your boobs?
All right, so here's a question.
Yes.
Um, no, actually, I think I have the definitive to it. It's a silly question because I think most people agree you have the freedom to be left alone,
Mm-hmm.
even when in public,
Mm-hmm.
even when making a fool of yourself. People don't have the right to put their hands on you. Like, as far as people mocking you, if you're out in public and making an ass of yourself and somebody's filming you and mocking you, you
Go
know
away.
what? You deserve to end up on YouTube. You have put yourself in this situation, and they have the freedom to make an historical record of it.
Yes. I mean, I'm a complete klutz, so, I am a beautiful, beautiful, wonderful comic book of how did you do that? And it's hilarious. If you can't laugh at yourself, you shouldn't laugh at other people. But it, okay.
Was that a coherent sentence?
I don't know. I didn't really think about it. I just talked.
Wow, that was like right out of Ulysses.
This happens. I don't have that thing that most people are born with, that filter thing. Okay, that's another question. Those of us who don't have a filter.
Do we limit our own freedoms? Those of us who do.
Hmm.
How much of our freedom do we take away from ourselves just as a matter of trying to be who we want to be? That is a heck of a question.
That
That
is.
takes a lot of self-reflection, and you have to be really honest about it.
Yeah.
How
Hmm.
much freedom do you take away from yourself to continue being who you want to be? I know I take a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it does. And for someone who, okay, I'm going to put it this way, I don't want to be sick anymore. That takes a lot of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and you don't have the freedom to continue behaving however it was that got you sick.
Yes. And so it is a constant battle.
But it's a freedom you're taking away from yourself. And guess what? You're free to do that.
I know.
So you're exercising your freedom by removing your own freedoms,
Yes.
if you think about it.
Hmm.
Always look on the bright side of life.
Well, speaking of freedoms, recently the UK has banned porn.
Oh, no, I thought you could still get porn if you had a license, though.
I don't know. I just I have a friend who's in the UK, and that was a thing that she was talking about earlier. I was like, "What?"
I'm gonna switch my VPN to the prime minister's or something. I'm gonna find out what it is and switch my VPN to the prime minister's his thing and start downloading mass quantities of porn. They'll be like, we saw it come in over your server.
Oh.
Laws. I love this. Laws are a double-edged sword, and remember that because the people who make the laws also have to follow them.
I mean,
And we had a law. There was a law that was discussed in Canada not too long ago, and I
mhm.
remember hearing about it. And it was something about issuing fines and fees for people who gossip or talk about people. It was like gossip, call people names, or hurt their feelings. You get like a fine for each different level of offense.
Why are we to that point where
Yes,
people?
yes. Now, I said, don't oppose this law. No, don't call me crazy. Hold on, listen. Don't oppose this law. Endorse it. And call your congressman and tell them you want them to pass this tomorrow. Get this on the books now. Because as soon as they do, everybody in the country is going to call and report that their congressman has offended them by talking about them behind their backs in a closed session of Congress and engaging in gossip. And you want them all fined. And I guarantee you that law would be gotten rid of that minute. They'd be like, oh shit, people are going to use this on us.
Yeah.
Every law is a double-edged sword. Just swing it back at them and they'll get rid of it.
Well, okay. I live in a part of Georgia where there is a law on the books that says that you cannot buy vibrators or dildos.
Really?
Yep.
Well,
And that is against my freedom.
well, you know what?
That is against my freedom.
I was going to say that sucks, but that's not punny enough.
Oh God. You can't.
I could say screw that, but
True.
you know, that just makes my legs shake. I mean, my so wait a second. There you cannot buy a dildo or a vibrator in your county.
Mm-hmm. So there's no sex shops in the county.
That seems like a pretty extreme limitation of freedom. See, and that crosses that line of they've gone into your house and told you what you can and cannot do. Well, no, I guess they haven't said what you can. They didn't say you can't own one. You just can't buy one there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've told people how they can, what businesses they can and cannot run.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the alternative BDSM lifestyle. In the state of Georgia, in most states across the U.S., it is illegal.
Oh yeah, yeah. Actually, we have a lot of laws on the books for what you can and cannot do in your bedroom, but I don't think any of them have ever really been enforced.
I want to hear a story of them being enforced.
I don't. I don't think any of them ever have, and I don't think any of them ever will. Because I mean, the minute somebody tried to enforce them, you know, you just ask for a trial. Because one of the laws I know, it is illegal to perform fellatio on a person in the state of Georgia. That's one of the laws. The minute somebody got charged with that, they just asked for a jury by trial or a jury trial, and look at the jurors dead in the eyes and be like, if you have ever gotten or given a blowjob, you could be next.
I would want to see that. I would want.
And the jury is going to be like, nullification, baby. We're not finding this guy guilty. Screw that. Pardon the pun. This blows.
Oh my. Yeah, I mean, there's.
See, I told all of that just so I could say this blows.
I realize that.
I have dedication.
No, I've seen. I'm dating somebody who does the same thing.
Yeah, I know. But back to the point, I think that's a severe limitation of freedom. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's right, and I don't think it should be. I don't think it can be or should be enforced. I think you'd have to violate people's rights, a lot of somebody's rights, in order to be able to charge them with that crime.
Yeah.
And I believe it's also probably one of those crimes like possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. Let's say somebody gets shot, or somebody guns somebody else down, commits a murder. Not first degree. We'll call it a crime of passion. You know, caught his wife in bed with some guy. Boom, boom, boom. Kills them both. Right? Mm-hmm. They're going to charge him with commission of a felony or possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. They're going to charge him with that.
Yeah.
They're going to charge him with illegal use of a firearm. They're going to charge him with a lot of stuff. But the thing that they're going to want him to plea out to so that they can drop all those charges is murder.
Yeah.
They're going to want him to plead murder too.
Yeah.
And if you plead murder to, we'll drop this and this and this and this and this. If you go to trial, we're going to charge you with all of this, and we're going to have to charge you and give you sentencing for literally every charge here.
Yeah.
So plea out. That's what they do. And that's why I tell people, putting gun bans in place, all that does is give prosecutors more ammo. And by the way, the same people that want the gun bans in place are the same people arguing that prosecutors shouldn't have this power. I've seen your platforms. You literally put this is what happens when you say there ought to be a law. It creates a situation that you later protest against.
Well, I mean, okay, I can agree to a certain extent because I have a an ex who is severely mentally ill, and he does own a firearm. He does have a license.
Well, they did just pass that thing in Georgia that if you believe somebody's severely mentally ill, you can report them. And I believe that the next time they try to purchase a firearm, they have to do something in order to renew their ability to get one. They have to go for like an evaluation or something.
Yeah. Well, he already owns one, so.
Yeah. All the courts can do is look and see if you have any registered firearms and then ask if you have any unregistered firearms. And something like, I don't know what the percentage is. I could probably pull it up, but I don't really trust statistics anyway. But I guarantee you there are more unregistered firearms than there are registered ones.
There are.
And besides, you could never get an accurate number on that because I don't own any unregistered firearms, and I wouldn't tell you if I did.
Yeah. It's when it comes to freedom, where does when it comes to laws, especially, where is the line drawn? You know what I mean? Where is that line where it's too much at? You know what I mean? Like jaywalking or so on,
Well, I think, or like what I said earlier, is when your law protects people's life, liberty, or property, or the natural resources that allow people to survive, then it's a valid law. Or law protects the society in which the people survive in.
Well, then.
So laws should protect people's life, liberty, property, and all the things that people need to survive.
Yeah.
Which are basically the natural resources and the society that they live in. So build the wall. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. But no, that's what I mean when I say protecting the society. There are societies that aren't quite so courteous and nice and polite, and there are people within your own society. This is why we have laws and prisons and stuff. There are people that aren't going to follow the rules. There are people that are going to say, freedom is the right to do whatever the hell you want. There are people that disagree with us right now and will act upon that disagreement.
Yep. And they do it every day.
And you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe we're wrong. But I choose to live this way.
Yeah.
And, anyway. And we all have the freedom to make those choices. But I believe that if you want to call yourself a good person, if you want to be a good person, whether, that's important to you or not, and you want the freedom to just go kill people, Google it, go on the internet and do some research and find a country where they're already doing that, because I guarantee you there's one out there. Go live there and be that free. That's my advice. Just, don't mess up people, what they already have going. Leave things alone. There are enough countries, there's enough places, there's enough diversity of lifestyle in this world, of cultural diversity in this world. You can literally have probably whatever kind of lifestyle you want. You just got to go find the right country for you.
Yeah. mean, mm,
Yeah. Then you go back to that original question that started all this, because I think I just touched on a nerve. Because a lot of people are hearing me say that and going, yeah, there are people who can live somewhere, and then there are people who can live anywhere. And I'm not one of the people who can live anywhere. And I agree. And that's why I go back to the original question of, if you still have needs, are you truly free?
mhm.
If your needs are met, are you free? You know,
Yeah.
can you, if you want to live in a different society, but you don't have the means to get there, and it's not a need, but you would fit better, or you feel like you fit better, are you free? Because you're not free to, be free the way you want in the society you live in, and you don't have the means to get to the society where you feel like you could. I don't know. I don't think that's a restriction of freedom. I think that's just a frustration of the want.
Yeah. And yeah, that's more of a want.
Yeah. But I totally advocate setting aside special funds to help ship people who want to live there to North Korea. Or
Let's not.
no, I mean, like, that was just an example. I mean, you wanna live in, let's say, Denmark, and they want to take in, say, 300 Americans a year.
Yeah.
I believe that the State Department should probably try and help people who couldn't afford it, who would qualify to do those kinds of things. But I don't think that they put a lot of effort into that. I don't think there's a lot of resources for that.
No.
And a lot of countries, they want you, if you want to move there, they want you to put money into their system. I mean, go look into it. If you want to move to, say, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, any of these places, you have to put
Yeah.
money on the line, or you're not getting in. You can stay there. You can hang out as a visitor. They'll take your tourist dollars, but unless you're going to put serious money into the country, they're never going to make you a citizen. They're never going to allow you to even try for citizenship.
Mhm.
And Denmark, Sweden, Finland, Norway, all those countries that, you know, up there, they're the same way.
And those of us who have like dual citizenship in one of our countries, you're just like, I will go and visit you, but I don't want to live there.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't
9
be.
times out of 10, if you have dual citizenship with the United States, you're in the United States.
Yep.
And there's a reason for that, because the grass is always greener where the dogs are shitting. It's really easy to look around the United States and see so many people succeeding and think that you're failing,
Yeah.
but you're probably not.
And mm, failure is depending
And
on.
failure is a wonderful teacher. Don't do it. Don't do the same failure over and over again, and you'll do well.
Uh-huh. Don't be me.
Don't repeat the same failure.
Yeah.
Just do the failure once, get through it, and then the next time you fail, make it something else that you fail on.
Yeah. Just no. Uh, don't repeat the same thing over and over and expect a different result because you're never going to get a different result unless you're in sociology or anthropology. Sorry,
Yeah,
I didn't have a degree in those places, but I really
if you're dealing with humans, yeah,
yeah, the human variant that drove me nuts.
yeah, the human variable, yeah, the same results. Nope, I changed my mind. Oh, yay! I always thought that there's at least a small percentage of artifacts that we dig up that were just pranksters.
Yeah.
They were just people like, hey man, let's put these seashells on top of this mountain. It's totally gonna freak out our descendants. They'll think there was an ocean up here. Hey man, give me some more of that skyweed stuff. Yeah, yeah, our ancient ancestors were jerks. I swear. They knew more than we give them credit for. But were they free?
Hmm. And how?
If you go back to let's end this going all the way back to hunter gatherer times.
Hmm.
You live in a cave. You wear animal skins. Uh, you make fire. That's your most awesome technology. Your friends can bang rocks together to make them really sharp. And most of the stuff that you eat has ticks on it. How free are you? You get up when you please, do what you need to do to survive. If you don't catch food, you might die. If you can't gather enough berries or find enough of this or kill something, probably not going to get by. Are you free? And you're talking about no governments, no restrictions, no laws, small society.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes and no at the same time. As weird as that sounds.
I believe they're more free than we are.
Really?
Yes,
And why?
because some of those people still exist. We call them Bushmen of the Kalahari, for example.
Hmm.
They're some of the happiest people in the world. They live however they want, and nobody bothers them because they live in the middle of a desert. So they just happen to know how to live in the middle of a desert.
Yeah.
Nobody else does. And they're pretty amazingly peaceful. Outside interference, I think, makes us violent.
Yeah.
Also, having hard things. There's nothing really harder than bone in the desert where they're at.
Yeah.
Not a lot of rocks. But go over to, let's say, South Sentinel Island. You still have it, Stone Age people there, and they'll try and shoot anything that comes near.
Well, and then you have like the Amazonian tribes.
Yeah, and there are a couple undiscovered Amazonian or s-
They're
not
just
regularly contacted
yeah,
Amazonian tribes, but they're pretty chill and peaceful and live off the land, and they're more free than I think anyone else.
but then there's
Your
also
nudity argument earlier is out the window with them.
I know, but there's also tribes that have been known to kill other human beings on sight.
Yeah, South Sentinel Island, or is it North Sentinel Island? I can't remember which one. One of the Sentinel Islands. I think they're called the Sentinelese. Oh, we're so creative with our names.
You gotta love the names.
I mean, if they would stop trying to kill us, we could probably ask them what they prefer to be called, but I don't think they're interested in that. Anyway, I think if they knew what we could do, if we wanted to, they probably wouldn't try to kill us.
Mm, probably. Most of the time, it's some anthropology person who's like, "I'm gonna go over there,"
You know
or
what? I can talk them into something.
"No, you can't."
I will show them this can opener and they will love me. No,
No,
they
no.
will love you when they are done dining on you.
Or hey,
While they are dining on you. I'm sorry.
let's go into the wilderness and take a camera and try to film these people. Oh fuck.
Yeah, he took my soul. Kill him. Take that device. Figure out how to get my soul back out of there. No, it's let me see. I think those people have more freedom than we do. I think they choose to live however they do. And honestly, they're living in isolation. Well, kind of isolation at a really good time to do this because there's so much empathy in the world towards that kind of group that we actually protect them and they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
So I think they have freedom, they have protection, they have a lot of needs met. After that great tsunami that hit Myanmar, the or I think it was India. Did it hit India or
Yeah.
Myanmar? I think it hit both, but we were really worried about them because some people were saying the whole island went under water, but they're still there,
Yeah.
still trying to kill us, and we're still worried about them. Yep, gotta
So
love the Sentinelese.
here's another question for you: is worrying about another person's happiness destroying your own freedom?
No, you have the freedom to worry about it, whatever you want. I don't think we're. I think you're borderline conflating freedom with happiness.
Hmm.
And I think I've actually been doing that for about 20 minutes now, so I really shouldn't call you out on it.
You have.
I really have.
We both have.
Yeah,
This is
we both, because we're talking about people being more free or less free, and honestly, I don't know if they are more free or less free. If we go back to the actual words, I think
yeah.
they're happier.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're definitely happier. So I don't know. Maybe the Stone Age people are actually quite miserable. Maybe that's why they try to kill us.
Maybe.
You did this, you son of a bitch. You know,
This is one
something
of
like
those
that.
topics that we really did need placeholder.
Yeah, he would have been a lot of fun on this one.
Yeah, because I'm like,
You know what we should do next time? We
what?
should do what is happiness.
That is. Oh God.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
That is. I like that one.
Yeah. All right. So meet us back here next week at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night to discuss what is happiness, and hopefully we'll be able to get Placeholder. And it sounds like a fun topic, man. We're gonna have to invite some more people.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna have to get some. We need to find one of those people that never stops being happy. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Like the trope from the movie. I
Where can we
want
find one of those?
the perpetual cheerleader,
Oh God.
or like that guy that's just like always finding the silver lining.
Yeah, we need one. Where do we find
Oh,
one?
we need to find some, and then we need to find a couple of Eeyores. A couple of Oscar the Grouches. Some
Yeah,
some I
those
can
are easier
never.
to find.
Yeah, there's so much you just get on Twitter and like say I love the new Star Wars and see what happens. You'll find them.
Yeah, immediately.
Just say something good about something that's, controversial. You'll find the Grouches real quick.
Yeah, the happy-go-lucky people are the hard ones to find.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know what they're doing on Twitter? Scrolling, going, oh, well, that's just, but I don't even understand what that means. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. No, these people are just so angry.
Are they even on Twitter? Is the question.
No, they're not. They're off being happy. That's an incredibly revealing statement.
That tells so much about all of us.
You know what? They're not on social media at all. They're not on
No,
Facebook. They're not on Twitter. No Instagrams.
nope. Oh,
No.
Instagram is full of self-loathing people.
You know what they're on?
What?
A beach.
Let's go to the beach.
Get a beach house. It doesn't even have to be on a beach.
Let's go.
By the way, I would personally hug anybody who could tell me what that reference was from. But we're gonna go ahead and close out the show anyway, because I know nobody can. It's way too obscure. Anyway, get a beach house. The funny thing about a beach house is it doesn't even have to be on the beach. But get one. Enjoy it. Anyway, we'll see you guys next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Our Brain Trust stream's about an hour, and we've reached that point. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you all later.